There's a big problem with Disney. Okay, maybe not that big, but it's still an issue. Big Bro has been making moves that affect the entire entertainment industry, up and coming filmmakers, screenwriters, even content creators like on here. Common thing I hear is Disney doesn't infringe on people's free speech, it doesn't censor people. Well, yes and no. Although they haven't deliberately silenced people by deleting their content, they have begun eliminating the range of the platform on which artistic expression is achieved in an open and carefree way. The ironic part? Disney has done this not only right in front of us, but with their gleeful cheer and approval. Let's back up a bit. No, we don't. We don't need to go that far. So, D23, which is basically like a conference that Disney has every year that announces all their upcoming programs and big announcements, and the hype this year was all around Disney Plus, which, in case you're living under a rock, is Disney's new streaming service that they have announced for early November. Basically, Disney announced all their new shows for it, from Marvel series, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, their What If series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, their Star Wars series, The Mandalorian, and a brand new Obi-Wan spin-off series, all the way to more niche shows like the Lizzie McGuire reboot, Phineas and Ferb movie, and even a Jeff Goldblum variety show. Okay, I'm here for it. And honestly, it was a good showing by Disney. When Disney Plus was first announced, a lot of people, myself included, kind of scoffed at the idea of a Disney streaming service. There's no way I'm gonna pay $8 to $12 for yet another one, just so I can watch old Disney movies and some half-baked programs. But Disney brought out their big guns. They're ready to go. Disney Plus will cap off a stranglehold Disney has recently gained on the entertainment industry. They have resurged after a slump coming off their animation domination ending in the 90s. At one point, they were untouchable. Things like The Lion King, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, they were unstoppable. And then they hit a wall. That is until, thanks to the acquisition of Pixar and films like Toy Story and A Bug's Life and Finding Nemo, they were able to find new life. And Disney became the gold standard in children's movies, toys, and entertainment once again. And now, thanks to recent acquisitions, are now the standard for brand associated entertainment for all ages. Meaning, if it's something that has value beyond its original intent, things like toys, music, spin-offs, Disney most likely owns it. Basically, they're not making any Schindler's List here, but they are the masters of movies and products that have extending functionality and meaning, and therefore profitability, to fans. So, is Disney's stronghold on the entertainment industry a good thing? I mean, we get tons of content for franchises like Marvel and Star Wars, and if you're, let's say, a director, there is a possibility that at some point in your career, you could even direct one. Plausibility that seemed impossible just 10 years ago, and that film you made would probably have a high chance of being the top in the box office. Disney films last year, if you include recently acquired Fox Studios, make up 6 of the top 10 grossing films for 2018. I mean, to think about all the studios that make movies every year, and for Disney to own 60% of the top 10 is absurd, even if the top billings usually only go to the big 5 movie studios, which are Disney, Warner Bros., Paramount, Universal, and Columbia, who, by the way, except for Disney, are all owned by other companies, AT&T, Viacom, Comcast, and Sony, respectfully. I mean, Disney trumps all these studios and it's not even close. Disney is one of the most universally recognized brands. In fact, Disney is ranked number 1 across the board on most every list out there. Funny enough, Disney owns this, and this. So yeah, In fact, Disney owns Fox, National Geographic, History Channel, Lifetime Channel, ABC, ESPN, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Freeform, Hollywood Records, Marvel Studios and Comics, Touchstone, A&E, Vice, multiple hotels and real estate properties and realtors, Blue Sky Studios, Core Publishing, GoPro, Photo Bucket, Steamboat Ventures, Scrapbook, Fast Click, Disneyland, World Hotel, Fine Art, California Adventures, and so much more. And shockingly enough, Disney is only 53 on the Fortune 500. Granted, the entertainment industry isn't exactly a cash cow, with a lot of overhead costs and expenses, and the high probability of your product being a failure or a bust. So, have we been blinded by nostalgia and fanboy content that we didn't even see what was happening right in front of us? The entrapment of the entertainment industry by Disney, while we, the viewer, basically applauded it, and not wanting to take the risk of something not proven yet, won't really take a chance on that new filmmaker. And that new filmmaker who's trying to make a name for themselves won't get the same opportunity they had before. And this isn't all the blame on Disney. That would be unfair. But they certainly have their role in it. The new filmmaker nowadays usually has to make their own original movie on their own with little or no support. Then they usually submit to the festival season to showcase their works to producers and production companies. This is not a new concept. However, when it used to be the company would approach you and after some meetings would agree to finance your next original film or script, now you get approached by one to direct or write one of their franchises or reboots or remakes. That was basically how the director of Shazam was picked, who had zero experience in Hollywood. So let's talk about Disney and the production companies they own and their influence over them and their work. Disney prevents artists making content that challenges our expectations, that makes something that we didn't know we liked until we got it. I mean, films nowadays take no chances and take no risks. They're just safe. Disney, you're really only going to get the safe picks. And that's a travesty. In fact, when Disney buys out a company that does challenge us, they stop. Take a look at Pixar. Although it did always have a partnership with Disney, Disney only acted as a distributor in the beginning. The individuals at Pixar were the type of people whose works were never really appreciated until the public actually saw them. In fact, the CEO of Pixar worked for Disney before getting fired. Disney never saw his potential. Really. Pixar used to be the golden standard for animation. And not just animation, but filmmaking in general. There was a time when Pixar couldn't make a bad movie. But in recent years, now that Disney and Pixar have basically morphed into one entity, their content has dropped significantly. And Star Wars? Look, I know the prequels weren't exactly the epitome of cinema. Everyone has their opinion on them. But at least they took some risks. Had some unexpectedness to them. George Lucas had the idea for a prequel trilogy basically since he wrote the first one, apparently. And he stuck to them. I mean, just look at the difference in the villains from the prequels to the sequels. Darth Maul, General Grievous, Jango Fett, Dooku, Palpatine versus Kylo Ren, General Hux, and Snook. Yeah. And Aliens? Prequels had too many to name. Sequels? Literally Yoda, Chewie, and Maz. Two of those are from the original. Disney just made Star Wars safe. They aren't bad movies, but they toe the company line in order to appease the most people. When you look at something like the prequels, films that have actually grown to have more appreciation by fans than when they were first released, I think. Although yes, fans are still pretty divided over them. And that's because George took a risk. Yes, some of them didn't pay out, but I think they really helped to solidify the unique brand of Star Wars. I think if the sequels came out first, we wouldn't be having the same conversation about Star Wars. The prequels helped Star Wars not to be so commercial and formulaic, thereby giving it cred. You may not like the risky decisions made, but you certainly respect them for trying it. Some people will try to say that the Marvel franchise helps disprove this, that with Disney's help, Marvel flourished to new heights. No, I think Marvel flourished in spite of Disney. Marvel is in the position that Pixar was in about 10 to 15 years ago, keeping their own creative freedom while Disney steps back and handles distribution, although that is already starting to change with all these Disney plus Marvel shows being announced. Marvel's future is now something to watch as their first big run is behind them. Look, I can't say it's all bad. I love seeing my favorite franchises get to be expanded on and have the opportunity to get different directors and writers to give their take on them and show what they mean to them. But it shouldn't be at the cost of originality or getting to see new content get their fair shake. This all can't be blamed on Disney once again. We have to acknowledge our own culpability in all this. We, as consumers, dictate the market, and ultimately, that's how change is going to happen. By we, the audience, showing a higher demand for unique ideas and content. Disney won't change unless they see that. And why would they? We're lining up like lemons to go see all these films. We're obsessed with them. We can't get enough of them. It seemed like it happened so fast. We were just riding the wave, enjoying all these Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars movies, getting sucked up into them, fanboying basically. Then suddenly Disney owned Lucasfilm, then Fox. Then they're announcing Disney Plus, and now we're here with Disney at the wheel of the entertainment industry, a locomotive barreling down with its sights set on even more acquisitions with no end in sight. But I think this can be changed, and we can have both. There should be enough room for big franchise movies of our favorite ones, but also new ones, films that could potentially become a franchise, and also films that have no chance of being one. It starts with us. We must be precise, especially the film aficionados. We are the ones who are going to spearhead the change because we have more invested. In my opinion, it's going to start with a detachment from the mass consumer market and a support of our own local communities. An increase in revenue from local artists will not only put companies like Disney onto the fact that there may be something there, but it also allows local artists a chance to fully commit their craft instead of working part-time or full-time. It even would increase more local artists, talented people who normally wouldn't commit themselves to the craft because of responsibilities in their own life. May decide it's financially worth it. It's why I started stuff like the #SupportLocal project, to put a spotlight on artists, music, business, and culture from local communities. So make the effort and go to an art gallery, go to a local show, and check out a film festival. Your presence alone will help start the process. In the end, Disney does a lot of good, but they're a big business at the end with only one thing in mind: money. Disney is at its best when it plays distributor to smaller production companies who normally wouldn't have the firepower to reach as many people as Disney does. It's when Disney becomes too involved in the creative and hiring process that things start to go south. There's enough room for Disney franchises and new original content, but it's on us, and we need the risk takers. They show us what we like before we even know we like it, and losing that in the film industry would be a travesty. Hello, comrades. If you like what you heard, please subscribe by clicking the little subscribe button. And please watch any of my other videos. Yeah, that is it. Check out my WordPress and also check out my Medium page. Hope to have another video up next week. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, you can hit up my customer service line in the comments. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, Degenerate.